Yeah, I actually like TvZ a lot. But
Great
I'll
match.
tell you all about my TvZ adventures after we do the introduction. In the top right, spawning as the Blue Zerg, playing for team AGO. It is Elazer.
And the bottom left-hand side, our red Terran player representing Chivo Esports is SpeCial.
Oof, a gas first from SpeCial here. That's rare to see these days in any matchup that isn't TvT. Maybe even in TvT it's rare. But almost everyone just preferring that faster Reaper into Marine. Add some safety, of course. But SpeCial doesn't really care about being safe, I think, on 300 ping. It just cares about having the best possible build. And we see Elazer just opening up with a hatch first, so SpeCial does not need to worry.
Yep, not going to be any kind of super early aggression at least. We've seen a lot of, I mean, Elazer especially. I haven't actually watched a lot of Elazer lately. He's not been playing a lot of the Cups that I casted, but in general in TvZ, we've been seeing a lot of just aggressive roach timings, kind of, you know, a minute off here or a minute earlier there, kind of different variations. I know Elazer has loved to play aggressively before, so we might see some of this in the, some of those in this series as we get ourselves going on Eternal Empire.
Yeah, if we're gonna see aggressive play, I wouldn't expect it on Eternal Empire, though, would you? This is probably the easiest map to survive on. Like, this map absolutely is fighting the evolutionary process, you know? Everyone's surviving here. Darwin would have no clue what's happening if he would be around to see Eternal Empire. I mean, the natural is insanely easy to defend because of the rocks. The third is easy. Zerg doesn't really have any drop opportunities either, so it's like, you know, what are you gonna do, bro? What are you gonna do? So most of the time, Swarmhold's play is kind of decent, but all other things, I mean, kind of suck.
Well, Reaper SpeCial hopping up into the main base. And the factory dropping down in the main as well. So just getting this set up and ready to go. A couple of queens dropping in from Elazer. As we are just going to be seeing the link speed getting set to roll. So I just had a mini heart attack because on my other screen I just saw a lobby for Seral Cure. But the admin is very quickly now telling them off, so... Do you know how many people would just never forgive me if we just miss Seral Cure? Oh,
Yeah.
We talked about it by the end of the year still. Don't trust that Wardy guy. Says they're gonna cast a certain game and they don't. Alright, I just applied a little bit of pressure then. Absolutely nothing aggressive happening here. Just sitting back, getting going. It is 1-1-1 from SpeCial, so he will have the starport finishing. Not any kind of super fast 3cc. But of course, with that starport finishing, we're likely to see a fusion core, especially because he didn't like build a tech lab or anything. Oh, he's actually going to go for a medevac. Oh, I didn't see the Widow Mines actually. Ooh, Widow Mine drop. Nice way to, actually really just different way to open compared to usual.
Yeah, and he does show the first 2 Hellions, so 2 Hellion into 4 mine drop. Oh, what? Starting Hellions now? Is this gonna be a 2 Hellion 2 mine drop? I've never seen this before.
It's very unique, right? You know, the 4 Widow Mines, you're like, okay, well that kind of makes sense. But yeah, 2 more Hellions. And they are rallied to like go into the medevac as well, unless he just hasn't changed it again. No, it's just 2 Widow Mines. Okay. Very interesting. Meanwhile, Elazer just going up in towards a lair. The thing is, Elazer hasn't started any spore crawls or anything along the lines of that, so not that you really need spores to deal with those Widow Mines, but he's just not aware of any possibility of aggression right now, so he has to be really on top of his minimap control, and then he needs to make sure he pulls those drones pretty much instantly. Here we go, Lings do move over, and, well, Widow Mine drops out, and the Lings don't quite get the kill. That's going to be a big... Oh my god, how did it go on the worst possible drone? That was the worst possible drone, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think there was any worse.
There was like everything was clumped up apart from that one drone and the Ling on top of it. That's unfortunate for SpeCial. He really felt as though he should have had a little bit more there.
Yeah, this doesn't feel quite like the start he was hoping for. He's gonna try another time, but the mine isn't even on cooldown yet, so we'll... Oh!
Just gets there.
Yeah, he gets a single drone.
Hey, how was the natural, though?
Yeah, should be able to get some damage done, I believe. Get a couple of drones already. Is it?
Well, there's actually just no circles left, so it's only queens. So now you can run back over towards the third base and get the drones over here with the Hellions as well, because all the queens are on the natural. Like, these Hellions are super low HP, and the drones might even kill some of them, but he will get extra damage, and even just a couple more shots towards the end. I mean, he takes up to, what, 13, 14 workers killed, because now there's a auto turret in the natural too. Kills 15 drones across all of this aggression.
Yeah, but the funny thing is that Elazer actually realized what was happening, and he was like, I think I'm gonna kill those Hellions before my next link spawn. So instead of building 20 links, he was like, you know what, I'll just build more drones. So
Yeah.
fought Hellions with drones and actually managed to survive. And he's still up 20 workers, so he's in a good spot. The initial harass of SpeCial didn't do too much. You know, you can say, wow, how's this possible? Like, he killed so many workers and he still isn't ahead. But this really was supposed to do a little bit more, I believe, especially the initial attack, right? The earlier you kill drones, of course, the more important it is. And now the next big thing is going to be this the two medevacs with the stim, which should be out relatively soon. I guess it's going to be 3 medevacs because he saved the first medevac. And that's where Elazer really needs to be ready for, as he's a very high worker count already. His fort base is on the way. His creep spread is starting to push towards a point where you can call it decent as well. All he really needs is a couple of banes. He should be fine against this, right?
Yeah, I think so. I don't think there's any way you really kill him, unless you get like a really good position with tanks, and like tank shots do really well, but it's very tough to just kill Elazer here, especially on this map, right? Because there is very few positions that are super abusable. Like, there's a little corner of a ledge here that maybe leads towards the 4th base, but yeah, for the most part, this is just going to be some crude clearing here from SpeCial. Like I said, maybe a couple of banes would be nice, but queens, lings, roaches, he's just fine for the moment.
Yeah, Queen's pushing away those medevacs. SpeCial does manage to deny some creep there, which is nice, of course. Extra tanks are being produced just from a single factory for now, as a couple of extra Rexes are being added. And how many Rexes are we going up to? We have 5 done already, 3 more being added. That's 8 Rex, isn't it?
Yeah.
And we're not seeing extra gases on the 3rd base.
And of course 60 either, so it really is quite committed, continued aggression.
Yeah, this is a 2-2 all in, I think.
Yeah. So he is going to have, when he just finished his armory, so 2-2 should start soon. He's going to have a big timing window where he has the upgrade lead, by the way, as well. So that'd be nice. Elazer going Hydra Den, already Hive, so I imagine he wants to go into a Lurker Den here and play Lurkers, which obviously we saw was all the rage at Home Story Cup, but it really did die off in fashion quite heavily afterwards. So I'm intrigued to see if Elazer can use that effectively.
Could also be Hydra Bane, right? Like
I guess so.
Weird with the Ravager open. But
Yeah, I guess so. Actually, we've just not seen Hydraling Bane for like almost forever, I feel. Interesting. Then, of course, the Hive could just be for Vipers and going into Blinding Clouds. Bane's from either side, but without Bane speed, it's a fairly pitiful attempt. Fortunately, it pulls SpeCial back far enough so that the Ravagers can pick off one of those, or a couple of those siege tanks, which does take the threat away, but still no Bane speed, and SpeCial will just kite off creep once more. And wow, still trading very well here, I think, SpeCial. This sets him up really well for when 2-2 finishes and he commits into this, all-out attack as well. 15 Marines being made at a time, by the way.
Yeah, it sucks that he lost a lot of his tanks already, and it's of course difficult to micro against the Banes, but there's almost no army here for Elazer, and there's a single Bane remaining, which won't be able to do any damage. SpeCial realized this, scans forward, it's like, you know what? I think I can actually kill you here. Tanks comes in on siege, and 1-1 Marines. With combat shield still pretty strong, apparently, as long as there's no Banes.
Next few Ravagers going down, and that's going to be GG. From Elazer, SpeCial just picks up game number 1 pretty comfortably in the end, and doing it with Bio.
Again.
Exactly.
And he's also, he doesn't really get held back by, like, have you ever gone investing, Wardy? Or have you ever went to a bank and they give you like 6 different investment portfolios, You have level 1,
I don't, but
which,
go for it.
Okay, slightly risky. Then you have like 2, it's like a little bit more risky, It's like, and then the final one is like high risk, high reward, basically. I know which one Denver would pick every single time, Marty, because this guy doesn't give a crap about being safe in life. Like, he just goes, he's really, really wild, and sometimes it pays off. I mean, that also is partly the reason why his consistency is so low, of course. Like, you can lose to a lot worse players if you play like that, but when he wins big, Vardy. He's level 6.
I love your little stories. Meanwhile, in this game, we do have quick intros: blue Zerg, bottom right Elazer, top left red Terran SpeCial, going into a game number 2. Didn't expect to see Bio at all in this series, so again, for SpeCial to pick up game 1 with it, I'm shocked. Honestly, I almost as though like Elazer didn't expect it to work either, you know, because he was just going a bit too crazy on the drones and so on.
I think he just kind of misread that game, right? He's gonna look at that replay, be like, no 6 gas. It's like 8. Like he didn't really scout at all, honestly. Like, I mean, he's no overseer, no nothing.
Who plays 2-2 all in on Eternal Empire, right? It's the map where you take like the 4 base and you play it a bit slower. So
I think he already was kind of shocked that it was Bio. That was like the first thing. Damn, it's Bio. And then it's like you kind of have to readjust from your initial plan, because I mean, if you go into Eternal Empire, being Elazer, it's like, well, you're gonna mentally prepare for mech, right? And SpeCial knows he struggles with mech, so it's like it's kind of 1-on-1 is 2, but then mate, SpeCial is like 1-on-1 is 3, mate. Here we go, Bio. It's like no problem. So yeah, it's rough, and this is the kind of stuff that it looks silly from the spectator point of view sometimes, but you're still stuck in the versus mech mindset, or like even though you've scouted something else already, you're still in like the wrong mindset, and it can be difficult to adjust on the spot like that. At least for some people it is. Not naming any names myself, but it can be difficult. But I mean, new game, Elazer is an experienced competitor. You should be able to refresh the mind and get ready.
Well, Reaper is just obviously coming across, and we start playing that little game for Reaper trying to find out what it can. Again, no early aggression in the form of like a pool first, Ling's going across the map, or anything along those lines. So this Reaper is pretty free to just sit across the map and then join up with a couple of Hellions, and again, just look for the right kind of time to sort of, you know, jump in that main base and try and figure out just a little bit more of what this follow-up may be. As the first few Hellions go out from SpeCial, he did go the second gas right away. This time he does make way, a tech lab for a starport. Typically that doesn't mean BC as well, because if you go BC, you typically just go, you have time to build the tech lab on the starport, right? So maybe like a Banshee or so here. Cloak starts up, Banshee gonna be the play. Which I always feel against Elazer, who, you know, sometimes pops out those roaches and gets aggressive. Mixing a few Banshee plays isn't a bad way to go about it.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. Actually, back in the day, you know what we used to call this build? I used to be in a chat with SpeCial and you remember Cider?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so they had this theory that in every matchup you should have a build that when you play against someone that's worse than you can pull it out and just win the game really quickly, you know, so you don't waste your time with it, and it's still a guaranteed win. And it was called the Chobo Kill build. And that's what Hellion Banshee was, the Chobo Kill build in TvZ. So this is a big disrespect from our boy SpeCial. We managed to only pull 4 drones here, so that's not quite what you want if you sacrifice this many Hellions, right?
Yeah, you're kind of looking for like 10 drones, because you lose all of your map control and stuff, and especially if you want to play Bio after, especially because you're not making a lot more Hellions. We'll see what he does in terms of continuing to build, but he starts Stim, so yeah, it's a little bit of a shame. The more Hellions you have to make to keep map control, the later your barracks are, the worse your transition is. A lot of it came down to actually his first volley went off on the hatchery instead of the drones, and his Hellions split up on either side of the hatch, so he was just in a bit of a mess from the start. Otherwise, they probably would have done a lot more as this Banshee. We'll get a couple kills before there's any detection available.
It's mad how well this is doing, isn't it? I guess these days everyone kind of expects the battle cruisers that Banshees are such a big surprise.
Happened in one of the TvZs yesterday as well, where whoever it was just went Banshee 2 games in a row, and you know, both games they just showed up, and so everyone was just like, bye. Who builds spore crawlers this early anymore? Just lose 10 drones.
Oh, look at this move by SpeCial. Tried to go in with the Hellions from the side. Had hidden those Hellions all the time, by the way, and decided this was a good time to go in. And Elazer disagrees, but he's still losing a bunch of drones to this one Banshee. Man, these Banshees and Hellions here are doing so much work here, and Elazer just isn't really, you know, getting anything done here. Like, the weird part is though is that Special's work account still is a little bit lower, and his supply is really low as well. Of course, only now his barracks finished, and yes, this is a big investment into the Hellions and the Banshees, but it feels like that Special really should be, getting something done here. Of course, his upgrades are fast, and I guess maybe with a combat shield and 1-1 timing, he will be able to do something. What do you think, Wardy?
I think as the barracks come online, this is where Specials just explodes, right? Because until now, he's been building an engineering base. He's been building the 3rd CC in the racks, and now you're going to see, as Elazer's been like redrawn and running drones around, suddenly this gets a little bit crazy here instead. And, you know, now the units are coming out, I think this is where Elazer might struggle a little bit. So let's see, because obviously we've got to wait for the first 2 medevacs to lift up some of these Marines. Currently, Marines chasing the Overseer around. The 2 Banshees are still alive though, right? So the 2 Banshees should be able to get some more drone kills.
Yeah, or they just join the initial push. Maybe try to deny some creep before the fight. Like, Banshees are really good at denying creep at an area, or maybe even stopping run-bys, kind of using it as a tank. Ah, that's kind of cute. And we actually see Elazer going for a big run-by, as the Banshees are moving away, but they were... So he'll be able to turn back. Is there any reinforcements? There's 2 tanks, a couple of Marines. This is a really big run-by the way, which means Elazer has nothing at home at the moment. This 4th base most likely is gonna go down, and what does Elazer get in return? 5 worker kills.
Yeah,
It's
good
not
defense.
it, Wardy.
It's a good defense and Special, right? Just like good positioning. Just able to kind of, you know, hold position the SCVs, so even the last few that maybe should have gone down didn't. And yeah, loses a 4th base, loses a lot of creep spread progress in the middle of the map especially. That's what the Queens are going to rebuild, but in the meantime, Special's, you know, back out this right-hand side looking for some more creep as well.
Yeah, Special did forget his armory, so his 2-2 is going to be delayed by a little bit, which is really nice for Elazer, as Elazer was extremely far behind in upgrades, and really needs to get his creep spread back up as well. 2 Banshees on the left side trying to deny some creep, looking for alternative 4th base. We have a similar strat to last game here from Special, by the way. Once again, no 5th and 6th gas and 8 racks, most likely indicating just the 2-2 timing. This is very aggressive from Elazer, isn't it? Really looking to do some damage, but good micro out of Special.
I like dropping the tanks down here because it really is just baiting the Balins into them. 12 workers at the end. Honestly, this wasn't going well for Elazer until those 12 workers went down. And even still, it's a bit like, ooh, do you have enough to hold a counter-attack? At least you got something done, but now you've got to get units up. He does have Hydras, which will be, you know, making this force a little bit sturdier at the front. But the position here on Nightshade with these tanks behind this, like, set of rocks, etc., how do you get to those tanks? It's going to be so difficult. For the second time this game, 4th base of Elazer goes down.
Yeah, but it's not that big of a deal, is it? I mean, he just killed so many workers, he has a lot of time, there's a lot of creep, and this area is very easy to defend here for Elazer, as he shows us right now with a good flank, a little bit of a zergling run by, keep some of the other Marines at home as well, and this gets cleaned up very easily.
But it does make it look good. There's a few Balins that really connect in on just clumps of Marines there, helped by the creep. Special will indeed be forced back, but I mean, you still look at it though, and it's still only Special 10 workers behind, and he's still up 20 army. Man, the 2-2 upgrades are the biggest shame for Special, because if he'd started those on time, they'd be like closing in on finishing, and then maybe Elazer does just die to this push. As it stands, maybe Elazer can get a couple more fights on the creep spread, and maybe he can do something with it. Special not going to give him too long to prepare for that though.
Yeah, I mean, Special is closing on a +2 attack, and he's denying creep already again. Like, even though Elazer managed to every time rebuild that creep, it isn't pushing forward, and that's really all that Special can hope for now, you know? Like, as long... Ooh, 2 Bailing Mines, you see that? I like that play a lot. I really do like that play. There's two flashes of Bailing Mines, slightly off of creep. And these are in good areas, especially the one on the top of the ramp. Might be able to actually get something done here.
God, it's going to walk over everything. It's going to be right in the middle of the Marines, and that's Elazer again. A lot of units here to start this off, and he really needed that to maybe give him some momentum. Here we go now. The Bane's pressing through. Jumps on this before the tanks besiege. The tanks go down very quickly, and with this, Elazer just flips the supply difference from Special's favor to his own.
Yes, he shouldn't be engaging off of creep still, though. Of course, there is +2 not quite done yet. Link's coming in from the side right now. If he unburrows those Banes, that could be a nice little flank. Not doing so.
They go down.
This is looking scary still for Elazer, who is even in army supply, but is fighting off creep against the Marine medevac tank. And They could tank my career.
Yeah,
Jesus.
it's insane. He just keeps picking it back up. It goes down now as the Lings get onto it. The Marines reinforcing here will be enough to rally out and shut this down. But still, this fight was so close with the Baneling connection. Imagine that wasn't there. And, you know,
I mean,
SpeCial probably
if that,
overruns, right?
yeah. If that wasn't there, SpeCial just A moves and laughs his way to Katowice. Like, there's absolutely no way. Now this fort base is up. Don't forget that all of this happened after Elazer killed 12 workers with those 4 or 5 banelings. So there's like two big things that happened, like the baneling mines and the banelings into the third base. Like, without these things, Elazer just gets overrun the same way he did on Eternal Empire, I believe. I just don't see a way where he holds. And now, even now, it's kind of close. Like, SpeCial is up in supply. He only has a single tank though. But on the other hand, Elazer barely has any banelings. Like, how bad is it really for SpeCial here?
The next few moments decide a lot, right? Because again, it's this scenario where it's 8 racks and no 4th base, so you really are in the next few moments. Yeah, SpeCial going to have to break Elazer down. Or if you get held off, then you start to come into some trouble. And he's just lost the attack on the bottom left-hand side. He's being pushed back in the center because there's only a couple of medevacs. He lost 1 medevac and about 8 Marines. So suddenly Elazer does push this back a little bit. And how long can SpeCial just sit here before he really just has to go all out? Or, you know, maybe if he feels like he can't, maybe he has to pull back and just start building a 4th base. It has to come at some point. In fact, he's lifted up his main orbital to go to the 4th base, so he does realize he needs that at some point.
Did you see the bottom fight? SpeCial accidentally lifted up one of the medevacs and lost it as he was unloading. So there was like a lot of supply that went down there for free, and then the other one fell at the same time. And I think Elazer is getting a little bit brave now and starts to move off of creep. He has a bunch of links at the third base. Burrows too as well, but I'm never a massive fan of attacking off of creep. But there's not a lot of tank seeds. There's 2, and there's a lot of banelings here, so Elazer might just be able to kind of crush SpeCial.
Yeah, coming in from a couple of sides. I mean, Bane's going to blow up a lot of the SCVs. The base goes down. On the top side, Marines were busy trying to get the base landed, so he was just missing a few Marines from this fight as well against a few Zerglings. He does have a drop across the map, but that kills 7 drones compared to the 27 which he spots in SpeCial. Type GG to give Elazer game 2, tying up the series.
Glad to hear that. Glad to hear that, Wardy. In the top left, spawning as the Blue Zerg, playing for team AGO Esports. It is Elazer.
Are you not allowed to say like AGO Esports?
I'm not sure. I think it's AGO, no?
I feel like it's, I don't know, I thought it was like Argo almost instead of AGO. I can't remember though.
Argo.
Argo Esports.
For him. For her.
You should ask Elazer if his team needs a a voiceover act.
I've been practicing this for years, mate.
Bottom right hand side, our red Tyrant player SpeCial. You know, you could brand it as like Argo for him, for her, esports deodorant or something stupid.
Yeah. I mean, I'd buy it. God knows I bought it. As long as they don't have a spray bottle. Alright. What do we have here, Wardy? What do we have here? Ephemeron, everything is so standard, man. These guys, they really, I guess proxying isn't really an option with 300 ping, eh?
No,
Sounds
bit
difficult.
too micro-intensive, huh? Just a little bit.
Just a tiny tad. And this time it was a barracks first out of SpeCial. Didn't actually see what it was last game. So it's interesting to see how they mix that kind of stuff up. Because this kind of mind game for yourself is really important, but sometimes your opponent doesn't even realize. It's like how tosses, they do like the no scout in PvZ, you know? And when you're no scouting, like you're on edge, you know, like, they better not 12 pool, you know? And then when you see the hatchery, you're like, yes! Like, you're really happy. It's like, can't get no scout twice in a row, you know? And you have like little patterns in which you do is like scout, no scout, scout, no scout, and sometimes 3 times no scout in a row against Namshar. Like, there's little things which, you know, and for yourself it's very intense, these mind games, but it's very difficult for the viewer to get how intense it is in that moment until you see the hatchery and the creep around. You're like, oh, thank God there's nothing there, you know? Like, you're absolutely pooping your pants that 6 links show up at 159 and start attacking your pylons. Like, dang it. There we go.
The rolls of the dice early in the game, huh?
Yeah, it can be really intense for you. Like, it's cool. it's a part of the game that's very difficult to translate to the viewer experience, I think.
Well, what we can see as the viewers quite easy is that this Reaper gets a few shots off on some lings and it's going to get pushed back a little bit, so a little bit of aggression here. Nothing overly crazy though from SpeCial, right? I mean, just poking around, just looking to see, and he did go into a marine after, which is standard. He moves his factory over, and he builds the second factory. Okay, well this is very different from what we've been seeing. So
Is this Blue Flame Hellion?
It has to be, right? Like, nothing else really makes sense that early on, I don't think. For a second
This is
factory.
a proper build. This is a proper build, mate. Two factory Blue Flame Hellion. Like, this is the kind of stuff, like, you teach your girlfriend when she starts to learn how to play. This is actually what I taught my girlfriend when she started to learn how to play. It's like, this is a cool build, you know, just A-move Hellions across the map, and then you can go into Hellion Cyclone from this, but you win a lot of games just with the Blue Flame Hellion. So I haven't seen this build in like 5 years though at the pro level.
Yeah, I feel like every now and then someone cracks it out and I feel like it never usually really does much, and everyone's just like, well, you know, that was a letdown. But, yeah, I guess we'll see. What is interesting is obviously, Elazer's pneumatized carapace, so he's going to see this right away. And he's just going to go, it's going to be Hellion Cyclone. I feel like when I have seen this, I couldn't remember, but I think Cyclone with Blue Flame is like the way to go, because like Cyclone still had like a lot, but maybe just like a couple of extra Hellions, right? So, yeah, his pneumatized carapace see Elazer sees everything though, so he shouldn't be caught off guard, goes straight into Rotron. Should be feeling pretty happy at the moment.
Yeah, and I mean, Rotor should be in time, right?
Yeah, I think that Queens are going to be good enough initially if they're in the right spots, and then Roaches will be out by Blue Flame, so yeah, I think it's all good.
We do have a Cyclone out here for SpeCial. We'll be trying to maybe supply block Elazer with that, so he can build the Roaches. Roach, of course, very supply intensive. If he managed to get 2 or 3 Overlords, it might be hard, but supply blocking Elazer is one of those things that's a lot more difficult than you think it is. This man always has way too many Overlords.
Yeah. He's, I was just about to say, like, he's already pretty, free on supply, and he already had 2 or 3 more Overlords in production, so there was no way this was going to supply block him. This is nice, though, gets the first Queen kill, right? And this, at this point, you're just picking up damage, and until the Roaches are out especially, you will generally trade pretty well here. The Infernal Pre-Ignite is about to finish up, so there's the Blue Flame now. Those Zerglings melt that a little faster, but the Roaches are out, so it's very well timed for the Elazer to defend against this.
Yeah, that still seemed like a bad trade, though, with the Lings, eh? I felt like it wasn't quite necessary either, losing all those Lings. Much rather have them for like some run by squad or picking off reinforcements, and then maybe lose another Queen. I mean, Roaches are already popping at the third. That seemed like an interesting play. As we see SpeCial move into mech. No, into bio. Why did I say mech?
Because that's what you want. That's what you expect to be. This makes no sense, right? That's.
Oh no, he's tricking all of us.
I mean, yeah, he's even tricking you who sees the stim pack. He's still going into Magfield Accelerator as well, though. What are the chances? Ooh, nice little flank here, gonna catch a couple of Hellions, and well, yeah, he's gonna get good fusions from that. So that was a nice move by Elazer. I was just about to say, what are the chances Elazer rescouts? Because when you've already seen 2 factories, oh well, he actually doesn't need to because he sees the double engineering bay. So yeah, Elazer actually knows that it's bio, and he's just gonna go double check because I feel like he might not even believe it himself yet.
It's like a fake double eBay.
Yeah.
Who doesn't know it, Wardy? Who does not know the fake double?
Yeah, fake double eBay. It's like 200 IQ strats and beyond. Man, I really just did not expect to see so much bio in this series.
Every single game we've seen bio.
Did Elazer open pneumatized carapace in the last 2 games?
I can't remember. No, he had the double evo every single time.
It's kind of.
Oh wait, pneumatized carapace is the Overlord speed. I'm not sure why I said double evo. I thought it was the carapace upgrade. No, he did not open Overlord speed any of the games. No. Who calls it pneumatized carapace?
The caster.
That's such an such a nerd
it's
thing
more
to
syllables,
say.
so it fills more time, so I have to say less clever things. So, well, I mean, it's just unfortunate for SpeCial, right? Because the one game he goes for something like super tricky, and like super like if you don't scout it again and again, you're in trouble. Is the one game Elazer has like really good scouting from the start of the game because of that investment. So.
I feel like Elazer kind of caught on to it though, like SpeCial every game so far has been kind of tricking him.
True.
And Elazer's like, all right, we're done, boys.
Yeah,
we're getting the pneumatized carapace, or as regular people call it, Overlord speed.
I always call it
Pneumatized
pneumatized carapace. I like it. I feel like it really rolls off the tongue.
Sure it does.
I don't even know what pneumatized means.
No one does. Even the guy that invented the upgrade has no clue either.
Yeah.
The P and the N together sounds real cool. Let's do that in a word. This is mad.
You reckon that whoever picked this one for StarCraft just like flicked through the dictionary and just whacked the finger on a page?
It's not actually a word, mate. Just put two words together. All right, what do we have here? We have the weird Cyclone Hellion trying to deny some creep on one side, and then we have a double Marine drop on the other side. 1-1 is finished there. Combat Shield isn't quite yet, but neither is Baneling Speed, so this should be fine. Right?
Yeah.
He's high supply. He really is.
Those Marines get away, the Hellions and Cyclones get away. Could control by SpeCial considering he's in two places at once there. And look at this, I mean, his 1-1 finishes, he's going to unsiege like 4 tanks. He's got a pretty big push, and because there's no creep on this right side fort base, he's going to get like a really good siege position across the bridges.
There's no creep whatsoever, not only on the right side fort base. I mean, these Hellions really have been doing some work with the Cyclones. Like, it's really... Usually the Roaches deal with the Hellions fine, right?
Yeah.
But if there's 2-3 Cyclones, every time you push out with the Roaches, you just lose 2 Roaches. And Elazer didn't realize that quick enough and had 2 little Roaches there, lost a lot of creep. This push looks extremely scary, and Elazer seems to be getting caught with his pants down a little bit, even though he has the pneumatized carapace. He is, I feel like attacking a bit too fast, and he's getting a second layer. I'm not sure what that's all about.
Yeah, not convinced about the double layer here, but man, look at the position SpeCial puts himself in. It's again the one really abusable position. He's going to lose all the Roaches Elazer there that were coming in from the left side. So that's kind of like, now you're not even flanking, right? Now you're just coming in from one direction. SpeCial does have a few of his tanks in siege, but he can just kite off of creeps, so those Balins just have to turn back around. Elazer's trying to go into lurk, he's got seismic spines on the way, but honestly, I mean, SpeCial maybe overstimming a little bit, if anything. Having a pretty good time just pulling back into his tanks. I mean, Viper show up and drop Lion Clouds, but so what? The Bane's are already dead.
Yeah, I feel like this was a bit poorly timed here by Elazer, who... The Vipers kind of came in as an afterthought there, is what it felt like.
Yeah.
But damn, the Vipers, like, he already had 2 big engagements, losing majority of his Banes, and he's still kind of in it. I mean, he can still hold on, especially if those Lurkers manage to finish, but SpeCial is knocking on the door.
Just dropped another Blind Cloud, like, right on top of the Marines there, so that's more energy the Vipers are going to have to get back here, and... Well, I mean, as the tanks just push a little further forwards, SpeCial's put on a little bit of pressure. And yeah, okay, you borrow those lurkers up, but guess what? You know, SpeCial's already sieged up your hatchery, and now he's just cutting off reinforcements coming in from the left-hand side. The lurkers don't help with that. And if the lurkers try and go anywhere, they're going to get blown up.
Yeah, this is... Oh, good parasitic bomb there, losing a bunch of medevac.
Yeah, that was good. Gets one more as well. Actually, that's all the medevacs gone, bar 1. And that one has no energy,
Bar 2.
so... Bar 2, sorry, yeah, I didn't see the one on the top. But that is a big deal.
2 more do arrive. 2-2 is about to finish for SpeCial as well. A little bit of a ling run by Sand out by Elazer. Will catch one of the tanks and a bunch of Marines. Does manage to kill that as well, as I feel like Elazer should just be taking another base at this point as well, because I feel like this one's gonna die eventually, and then all of a sudden it's gonna be 3 base against 3 base. Vipers are putting in some work, and with the seismic spines, these lurkers are so useful to have. A couple of transfusers going down on top of those lurkers as well.
That's the base. I totally get what you mean though, like, because it feels like even if you try and defend this base, it's gonna go down, right? It was getting so low, so why not already have a base somewhere else? The issue is, where do you put that base? Because the next normal base is like the forward one. Well, SpeCial's kind of like covering that anyways, and then you can go to the left side.
Just the left. Just do the left side, because yeah, for SpeCial to rotate to that direction will give you so much time, and you have the 3 bridges that he most likely won't need to cover, which you have a nice little choke there. So even if you won't actually get much use out of it, at least you can rebuild your other fort.
Yeah.
And you bought a lot of time against someone who's 3 base all-in. Because let's not forget, this once again is an all-in from SpeCial. This time with 5 gas, so we can afford the extra tanks from the double factory. And also eventually apparently +3 attack. I did not know that was possible, but he is making it work. So, I mean, at this point, long distance mining definitely is worse. And it's very difficult to rotate for SpeCial. These are some good pools, by the way. This is very good by Elazer.
Yeah, that's really nice. 3 tanks just get picked off there right away. I mean, tank count is like almost critical for SpeCial here, right? It's one of the big things that's going to power up these fights. I like this though, making the dive towards the natural, because he can kind of set up from the low ground again. Lurker's not immediately in position. He's going to scan for the Lurkers, and man, those Lurkers getting blown up. Two of them go down pretty quickly. So suddenly a good moment for SpeCial. He's just going to keep rotating between these couple of positions. Maybe try and interject himself between the third and the fourth again. Then he could stream a few Marines over to the right side if nothing else is there already. In fact, he might be able, yeah, he's going to do just that. The tank's going to siege up, and again, the Lurkers just aren't in position fast enough. So, well, the Vipers come in and at least get some of the siege tanks. The more Marines showing up, and there's still 4 siege tanks here. As the Lurkers are just going to dive on forwards. Scan comes down from SpeCial. The extra Lurkers pushing through. The Marines being cautious, and they will just go to the top right, go for the hatchery. This tank's still picking off Lurker after Lurker.
Yeah, look at Elazer's money, it's so extremely high, but because he's squeezing with the army for so long, we just haven't had any injects whatsoever, so there's just not enough larva to produce stuff from, and Elazer's kind of getting outplayed here with every single rotation. Either creep dies or a base dies, I guess, in this case, but there's no creep whatsoever. There's 3 Lurkers left, there's a bunch of tanks, and another 3 basal link from SpeCial. Seems to work.
Yeah, I feel like when you have that 4th base and there's so much trouble, if you're not going to expand elsewhere, at least the macro hatchery down as well, right, maybe? Because lava is absolutely one of the issues he's had. Yes, now he's spending his money, but also because he's losing a bunch of drones. He's not mining up a 4th anymore. He's going to be seeing Hydras, well, in a bit of trouble. These Marines are still very low. These medevacs are really drained of energy. And as the Vipers, are they still around? No, they're not. So there's no more ducks on these tanks, so this should just be a slow push forwards at this point for SpeCial. I mean, 3 more Vipers on the way, but can you wait that long? Probably not. This, for whatever reason, Lair on the 3rd is very close to going down.
I guess in the end it was nice. Lair provides a little bit of extra HP.
Yeah,
so
it would be dead if it was a hatchery, you're not wrong.
It would be dead if it was a hatchery, but I don't think it's gonna matter. This game, as SpeCial pushes forward, GG gets called, and SpeCial picks up the 3rd map as well, putting himself on match point. And for the 2nd year in a row is on the brink of qualifying for IEM Katowice through the European qualifier. Possible.
Well, let's go into this one. Right now, with Bio on 300 ping winning 2 games out of 3, anything does seem to be possible. Bottom right, our blue Zerg, Elazer.
I was tapped out. Keep going.
And in the top left-hand side, our red Terran player is SpeCial. As again,
I'm studying the bracket.
Of this best of 5.
In this best of 5, which has been dominated so far with 3 base all-ins from SpeCial. And aggressive openers, right?
Yeah.
What was game 1?
And
what did we see in game 1?
Tricks and quirky kind of styles, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely has been a
game
little
1
bit,
we had the mine drop.
Yeah.
Game 2 we had the Hellion Banshee from 2 base. And game 3, we just saw that, was the Blue Flame Hellion.
Yeah, the
or
double,
as Wardy likes to call it,
into Bio.
the pre-ignited.
The infernal pre-igniter.
Yeah, lay off, mate. Yeah,
I'm telling you, man, like it's great. You use all the big words, and you have to think of less clever things to say. It's really smart.
Filled another sentence.
You know, it's more than anything. I think it's just like while I'm thinking about what to say next, almost, it helps me out to say the longer names.
I'm not sure if it's Blue Flame. Yeah, Infernal Pre-Igniter.
Yeah, Blue Flame is definitely faster.
But I always say the Blue Flame Hellion upgrade, which then again is...
Well, yeah, at that point, you might not be gaining very much.
Yeah. Oh, right. You see that SpeCial accidentally pulled all of his SCVs?
No, I was in the laser space.
This kind of move always feels so nice to do.
Yeah.
You know, at the start, I can't remember why, but for some reason my... Oh no, okay, so the recall automatically is binded to R, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. And probe is automatically binded to E. And I spam my stuff at the start of the game. And an embarrassing amount of times have I recalled all of my probes in the first second of the game.
Dude, I'm pretty sure I've seen you do this.
Oh, well, if you tuned into my stream for more than 2 hours during that period, yeah, I'm pretty sure you would have. Is it every single day? No, okay, at least once a week it would happen. After 3 weeks, this took me 3 weeks to realize which is the worst part. I was like, probably should rebind it. And then I rebounded the T. Never happened again. One key over. It's actually mad how bad I am at clicking the right buttons. Anyway, back to the game as we have a Hellion opener, and this just seems to be going into Hellion Banshee.
Yeah, I think with the Tech Lab, it really does sort of just suggest no BC at all. It just doesn't really make sense to build the Tech Lab up for the barracks, right? You're better off just building a couple extra Marines just to help in case it's a Roach attack. Especially because if it's a Roach attack against a BC, you know, the BC takes a while to finish because you gotta wait for the Fusion Core, then the BC. So the couple extra Marines in a bunker go a long way if Roaches come out. This is actually going to be Marauder and a Medevac and an Armorer then. Yeah, how about Marauder? Yeah. Again,
you know what's funny? Is that we don't see pneumatized carapace this game, right? We don't see it, and the reason I think is because Elazer felt like it kind of cramped him in his build. But I think he's taking away the wrong thing from that game, you know? Like, the reason he lost that game, I don't think was because he was lacking the 100 from Overlord speed.
Yeah.
But I think that's what he's taking away. I think that was the wrong takeaway there. It's very funny to see how people kind of adapt throughout the series. They'll be like, they'll try some stuff, and then if they don't like it, they'll switch back to what they did before. And I actually feel like this is the incorrect call. As every single time in the early game so far, SpeCial has been doing something tricky, and actually felt like last game was the first time where Elazer was kind of in an okay spot after the early game. Perhaps not as much creep as he would have liked, but his early game was really fine last game.
Yeah. No, he really knew everything that was going on at every point, right? Anyways, this attack comes in, and the Hellions and the Marauders start to press on forwards. Armory is done, so the Hellions come off in the Hellbats. Now the Marauders with the concussive shells, the best part of that is that they just stop the Queens from kiting away as much. So the Hellbats can actually get in range and stay in range of the Queens. You see, man, drones are just running around all over the place, by the way, during this. Transferring between bases, which is dangerous. I like the Lings at the back, might be able to shut down a couple of the Hellions coming in. He dives in on this.
Insane micro by Elazer. Did you see the Queen and Lings dance?
Yeah.
I can't believe how well this went for him. This was actually some of the best micro I've seen from a Zerg in ever, because usually I don't actually see Zerg's micro, but this was absolutely mad how well he did it. And now he will be counterattacking with the Lings, tries to get the Hellions, doesn't really work out. Might be able to grab a mule that's about to expire anyway, but I mean, this just feels over. The Link flood keeps coming, couple of Hellbats being picked up, another Marauder goes down. What's there left for SpeCial? There's 4 Hellions and there's 29 workers. Ooh. What's the Queen count? 5 Queens still alive, so even the Liberator follow-up shouldn't do too much.
Yeah, this is, you know, you get pushed all the way back, especially you kill nothing, you take damage yourself. This feels bad. He's still actually building Marauders, like he wants to go for like a wave 2 of this, basically.
Like, what else can he do? He's 32 workers.
Yeah, I mean, I guess so. I mean, most times try to like switch it up anyways, though, right? But like, yeah, he's just accepting his fate in this game.
Jeez, that was such good micro by Elazer, actually. Like the way he used those Queens, like spread them out completely, and the run by with the Lings, try and get some Hellions from the back, and then just surround on the 2 Hellbats. That was a really good micro. Holy crap.
SpeCial gets 5 drones. Could have gotten more if he target fired drones instead of Queens. Maybe wanted to get transfuses out though, so like because he's looking for this attack already, by forcing the transfuses already, maybe he can like take the Queens down in this fight rather than like killing drones, which would affect the Laser like a couple minutes from now instead. He wants the effect to be right here now, but the Bane's connecting the Hellbats and that's an instant GG. The Laser takes it to a game at the 5. Wardy solo cast on this one as Hostum missed the lobby invite. He was too shocked by the other results. We'll have him back for the next series. As in the bottom right hand side of the map, we'll be having our blue Zerg Elazer taking on the red Terran in the top left hand side. SpeCial. Game 5 of the series. The winner of this qualifies to IEM Katowice. You know, a bit cheeky from Elazer. He already lives in Poland, but at the same time, while his travel and expenses covered, it's also kind of nice for him because you get straight to the round of 24, which means you don't have to play that offline qualifier. And round of 24 already plays out pretty nicely, as we do see the Overlord of Elazer heading out onto the map, and a couple of drones just popping here in the early stages. And we do see a gas and a Rax dropping in from SpeCial as well. So getting this set up. It was Rax before the gas though, so it is again that barracks first style. And for the first time, obviously that game didn't really get to the stage of it being bio, right? You know, SpeCial kind of had the intentions of winning with that push, or when it went so badly wrong, he said, okay, well, I'm just going to try again, and this is it, do or die. We'll be interested to see what exactly SpeCial does in this Game 5 now that he's, again, had a mixture of success. Well, he's had good success with Bio, because I feel like the one game he did lose with Bio, he lost because of them couple of Banelings. You know, the burrowed Banes started to turn the game around, and from there, the game definitely changed quite a bit. So he had a lot of success with that early. We'll see what he goes in this game number 5 now. Is obviously, if you lose this, you're not out. You do have the lower bracket you can still play through, but only one qualifying spot in the lower bracket means that it's very, very tough. You're going to have to beat some really good players to make that work. So an expansion comes down here, and as we do see the hatch, gas, and the spawning pool to start up with here in the first few moments. We are going to be having a Reaper on the way up from SpeCial. Obviously, that's about to pop. But again, it's nothing super crazy. Elazer has held off from any kind of overly aggressive kind of setups or anything like that. So we'll have a slight pause here from Elazer and a moment or two before we get back into this. Just a quick mention, of course, then, guys, if you're enjoying this game, the series, the cast, you guys know follow buttons, etc. Hit them. You'll be my best friend. Game 5 resumes as Go-Go is called and the factory dropping down from SpeCial. Watching for that second gas just to make sure he is going to go into the 1-1-1 setup, go into that starport. So there is the second gas getting going. And the third hatchery here from Elazer coming in on the right-hand side with a Reaper heading down to the bottom right to move in towards the natural, of course. Again, just looking to try and pick away some of those lings, dealing some damage to the drones. A good little start here. So Ling speed going to be starting up, of course, as well. And the Elazer not going to keep mining too much gas. So again, really doesn't look like there's going to be any sort of special tricks or aggression out of him in any time soon. Once again, just going to be seeing the Queen popping out, and the Reaper is going to be pushed away, with the command center of SpeCial finishing up on the natural expansion. So that CC will finish up, the starport coming in on the main, and the factory going to lift off and go to the reactor here. So that's going to be dropping down and start pumping out the Hellions. It was that second gas, like previously mentioned, and there's the barracks dropping down as well. We still haven't seen BCs from SpeCial. We haven't seen a battlecruiser opening at all from him, as he goes into a really fast third CC, actually. 3:15 on the third CC. That's almost like a CC timing when you've... He actually cuts Hellions to do this. It's almost like he doesn't take a second gas. That's much faster than usual, so he's going to go double Hellion Marine, and I guess he might go Fusion Core this time. And there it is, Fusion Core drops down, so this time he is going to go toward the battlecruiser opening. So really cool series plan from SpeCial. In the overall best of 5, not once has he opened in the same way twice. He's kept it different every time. He's kept Elazer guessing. He's making it a difficult series for Elazer to play because Elazer never knows what's around the next corner. He doesn't know what build's coming at him this time over. And Elazer can't say, you know, from one game to the next, oh, okay, you know, in the opening stages this happened, I need to make sure I do that better. Because the game changes in the early stages every time because of how SpeCial's changing it up. SpeCial doing a great job of this so far. I do love that, but that's unfortunate. The Zerglin sneaks by, and that does mean that Elazer, as he goes in for these Hellions, he'll get the Reaper. Hellions get away. Elazer sees the Fusion Core, so from very early on, Elazer knows Fusion Core is up and a battlecruiser's on the way out. So that's a scout that Elazer gets, but otherwise he wouldn't have been able to, because if this Overlord had moved up here, it would have been denied, right? So that's a really nice Zerglin scout there. As we actually see the Marines will push the Overlord to the high ground, and the factory going to move off the reactor, which probably suggests extra barracks. And if we get extra barracks here, it means it's just going to be 1 BC. So 1 BC into Bio. Bio definitely seems to be the flavor of the day here from SpeCial. We have in general in TvZ meta, Bio has kind of come back up again more lately, and then players were still playing a bit of mech, but this really does feel like Bio's just being embraced. It'll be really interesting to see what Kua does against Serral in that TvZ matchup, because that's our next matchup coming up as well, of course. Battlecruiser coming in as the orbital command from the SpeCial, going to fly over here toward the third base. It's going to be moving that over. A few Marines picking away at the Overseer right now, and again, just going to be seeing the stim pack coming on through to see what's going to be happening. Trying to get the Overseer then, and just going to be seeing the +1 attack upgrade and the +1 armor upgrade from the SpeCial coming through too. So watching that stim pack as a couple of Evo chambers coming down the natural. BC flies across then, or teleports across, and very nearly gets the first couple queens, but both of them go low without going down. Next queen taking some damage as well, and we are just going to be seeing a couple of drones being picked away at the moment, so again, decent damage to begin with, but keeping the old BC alive is nice, mostly. With only one BC, what you will have is the fact that Elazer will typically not go Spire and into Corruptors. So this BC throughout the game should be able to come back again and again and again. And every time it comes back, it's not just going to be met by Corruptors, you mortal one down and teleport away. It's going to be like Queens, etc. that will have to put a lot of damage over time, so you're likely to get a few drones here and a few drones there. That's likely to add up over time, as you will see this battlecruiser pushed away up to the top left-hand side. Third orbital from SpeCial, setting up in the front. 1-1 upgrades dropping down, combat shields starting, infestation pit, Hydro stand underway, so this is just a laser building into... Well, I always feel like recently we've seen the infestation and the hydrogen at the same time. It sort of suggests the idea of lurkers, because you want to, with the lurkers nowadays, get into Hive ASAP, because what makes the lurkers good is getting into the seismic spine upgrade, etc. So that's a real possibility here. Let's keep our eyes on it as we do see these Marines simming forwards, and for the moment just Bane speed and Hydra range starting. The Marines pulling back off the creep, SpeCial doing a good job of that, and the BC could maybe get rid of some creep tumors on the top side as well. Because again, those Zerglings coming through, the Marine's going to have to lift off, pull away, and the Baneland Nest just going to start up Baneland speed. There's a few more creep tumors going down. So like I said, just denying the creep spread, and that keeps the game very active for SpeCial, giving him a lot of, locations he can move on over to, etc. As this Queen able to keep pushing the BC up to the top. Lane's going to make a dive in for these Marines on the bottom. A few Ravagers showing up as well, and those Marines will have to load into the Medivacs and get away. A couple of Overlords going down. Like I said, this BC, there's nothing to get rid of it quickly, so it just sticks around and does so much damage. The Queens are left chasing that as we do see the Lings try and move across the map, but Hellions are there already. There's our Hive underway, so as Siege Tanks are here, maybe this is just a move towards Lingbane Hydra, the Viper support. Never mind the Lurkers like I was talking about. This BC going to try and hide away in the corner, and well, still no Baneland speed for about another 20 seconds or so, which makes this attack of SpeCial real scary here. With about 15 army supply, again, the troops quite far back, so you can get very far forwards. The Banes are clumped up there, so the first tank shot is really good. Able to do a lot with that. Now the Marines pushing forwards again. The Lings and the Banes continuing through. The tank shot's still going to be good to push those Banes and Queens backwards. The Marines spreading out a little bit. As our Queens and the Ravagers still trying to come through as well. This entire army of Elazer really wants to just kind of surge onto this, but he has to take his time about it. Can't go in too soon. Corrosive Files on the Siege Tank are going to be very, very important here. Next Siege Tank isn't sieged up just yet. SpeCial doesn't seem to care, pushing forwards. This tank will move in and still get sieged. How long can you keep this up for? We've talked about this in previous games, by the way, about this kind of 8 racks all in, but this isn't even 2-2 starting, so SpeCial's very all in if he doesn't win the game soon, because he doesn't have 2-2 upgrades on the way. He only has 1-1, and that's obviously very expensive for him to be missing as we see these Marines stimming in. A couple of Ravagers going down. And Elazer will continue to push these few Medivacs away over to the side there, so a couple of Medivacs being pushed back, and it really feels like SpeCial's a little bit of momentum's being broken right now. We also see that Elazer with a lot of money in the bank, but it's because the Queens have been consistently at the front here trying to defend. They did actually get rid of the BC. We didn't see that happen. We've been too focused on this attack. When another Siege Tank goes down, it feels as though SpeCial really is broken. He finally started +2 attack, but 2-2 is well on the way from Elazer. Hive is up, so he's getting into Adrenal Glands. And while he does lose a couple units here off of Creep, he's pulling back to 84 drones of unit production across 4 bases. Again, if he could just get a couple extra injects rolling here and there, because he's currently got 3 bases not injecting. And he is actually adding extra Queens, maybe just to inject. But if you can get those injects up, spend that bit of extra money, Elazer really will just have the easiest time pushing this back. Even though 2-2 upgrades finishing pretty much does that as well, right? I mean, how do you fight 2-2 upgrades as a Terran? And Elazer, knowing he's a little bit safe here, is going to start up the Ultralisk Cavern. So that's going to be coming in on the main. You have got a few Marines down to the south side. Seeing the hatchery isn't there, but now it starts up, so he'll come in and try and get the kill. Elazer will not see it in time, so no cancel. Nice little snipe from SpeCial. Again, 2-2 on the way, but +2 armor even behind the +2 attack, which was already late to start. Bane's still pressing through here, and again, as the Elazer sits back, the longer he waits, the better it gets for him. Because he is on his way towards that Ultra's cabin. Adrenal Glands will finish before any Spawn Pool gets killed. Spawn Pool doesn't get killed anyways. Now counterattack. SpeCial's just been rallying across the map, so the counterattack here is going to be the first time we really see SpeCial having to pay attention back at home for, well, quite a while. And especially with Adrenal Glands now done, those Lings are deadly. Instantly, 11 SCVs go down on this third base. The Marines push through. The Zerglings have to escape away to the top side. And the extra Ultralists just on the way out, rallying out to the front to join up with the Vipers, join up with the Queens. So Marines setting up here, the tank's going to be pressing in as well. A Viper, I mean, would be a nice target if you can take it down, but Elazer's got the Queens to transfuse it as well. The first few Balins running forwards there, big Blinding Cloud on the Siege tank, so that's exactly what you want the Vipers for. And the Blinding Cloud on the Marines on the bottom side, well, that causes the Marines to run forwards towards the Banes on move command. So that's obviously not pretty either. Look at the supply difference now, 200 to 150. Ling's going to hit this third base again. Ling's running towards the natural, going to intercept reinforcements. The depots do go up, but how long do those depots last for against Adrenal Glands? Not very long. It does maybe mean Elazer doesn't have too much over on this side. Can SpeCial somehow fight through this? Right now, the Ultra not able to get through here, but it's also pure Marines against that Ultra, which about to have Chitinous playing. Means that Ultra's going to really struggle to go down, but the first one doesn't have Chitinous, so it won't go down yet. It will go down pretty fast. Queens don't have that many transfusions left over. SpeCial is still doing something, but remember, he is losing absolutely everything at home, while Elazer just rebuilds. So SpeCial still pressing forwards here, and he's even going to type GG as he scans up the ramp. He sees there's 4 more Ultras. Elazer's going to take this 3-2 and qualify for Intel Extreme Masters Katowice.